And welcome. This is our second year of doing this here, and I bought this property about 2 years ago now, and it was on Zillow. Maybe many of you guys saw it sitting there, and it sat there for, I was watching it for about 9 months, and it was on Zillow for about 2 years. And it's a patented claim. It was patented back in 1924. I've got documentation from Calvin Coolidge who signed off on it. And so it turns out that this property here is made up of quartz monzonite. Mica schist is obviously one of the big things here, but there's also quartz monzonite around. Yellow aster is quartz monzonite. A lot of the mountains around here are quartz monzonite. There's quartz monzonite on this 58 acres. I mean, we're just on a small part of this property. It goes on back here. So quartz monzonite is a perfect it's the most promising formation for spent nuclear fuel, geologic formation for spent nuclear fuel, hands down in the United States, in North America. There is no other property like this perfect for storing spent nuclear fuel. One of the other reasons is there's no water and there's no water table. There's no water basin here, there's no water table. There is a water basin that comes up the middle of yellow aster and goes back. But when you look at my property, there is zero water table. Now, many of you guys maybe heard about the issue with spent nuclear fuel. It is a problem that we've been having since the 50s. And man, the United States, all the government's been kicking this can down the road and leaving it for the next generation, So right here in California, we've got 291 spent fuel canisters that are stranded along the coast. 123 are in San Onofre, 147 are in Diablo Canyon. They're in Santa Barbara and San Luis Obispo border. 5 are up in Humboldt Bay from the 70s. 73, that nuclear power plant was shut down because they built it. Then they realized about 5 years later that they built it on 3 tectonic plates. So they said, oh, we better shut this down. Those 5 canisters are stuck in Humboldt Bay along the coast. And then there's 21 canisters stuck in the middle of Sacramento. Sacramento almost had a nuclear meltdown in the 70s, and it would have been it was in fact the third most disastrous nuclear disaster in the United States so far. So that almost melted down and divided California in half. So then they shut it down, and there's still 21 canisters stranded there. So what the deal is with these spent nuclear fuel canisters is that the federal government was supposed to come and take all the canisters by 1998. So what they were doing is they built Yucca Mountain. You guys heard of Yucca Mountain in Nevada? Most of you guys probably have, right? It's politically closed now, completely shut down. It got to the point where they had water coming in. It's built on a water table. They had water coming in, and they were started to fabricate awnings of metal over the canisters to put a Band-Aid on it. They finally just shut that down. They spent $13 billion making that's gone. So what's happening is there's 291 canisters in California that'll never cross state lines in our lifetime. And that's me talking. Everybody wants it to get out of here, and everybody wants a place like Yucca Mountain to open up and take them, but they're not going to be taken in our lifetime. It's going to be the next 300 to 500 years that I believe it'll finally be at a position to take these things over somewhere. We don't know. The way the law is in 1998 they were supposed to take possession of all the spent nuclear fuel throughout the United States. We're talking about 291 in California. There's 6,000 approximately throughout the United States, especially back east, that need a home, that are all stranded. So, but now going back to the 291 canisters out here, if we move them here, we're far east of the San Andreas Fault. You know, this place is perfect for this radioactive waste because these canisters are going to leak. They're going to leak probably within 10,000 to 100,000 years of their lifetime. The half-life of these canisters are 214,000 years. So we're talking about John's boys over here that are young, that we're passing off this problem to, just like it was passed on to us and we didn't even know about it. We're talking about something that's for your grandchildren's grandchildren's grandchildren. So I'm talking about moving this spent fuel on an interim basis, temporary, to the next, basically up to the next 500 years until those generations could find out what to do with them and how to move them into a deep isolation. So that's what my initiative's about. It's called the Randsburg Project. So anyways, that's me. I'll just leave it at that, because I know you guys, other things have got to go on. I could talk about this for days and days and days, but does anybody got any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
So is this your land that we're eating on right now? I mean, is this your land you're talking
Yes,
about?
I own it 100%.
And you let us borrow it for 4 days?
Yeah, is that 4 days, Ron? Is that right? I thought he said 2. No.
Is there any other time of the year that there's access to this place? Is there any other events that you let people use the land?
So far, no, just you guys. And he gave me an insurance policy, so we're good. Yeah.
Where on the property are you thinking of putting it?
Okay, that's a great question. Over there where nobody would see it. Right now when you pass San Onofre, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And this stuff all can exist on an acre of land, but it'd be bigger. And it would have unbelievable stuff. Things that Randsburg, the community, the number one thing, just one more point I want to bring up. The number one thing that I have to accomplish is winning the people of Randsburg, Johannesburg, and Red Mountain. Without them, this is not going to happen.
Right.
But
Landowners, yes.
why would we want to bring everybody else's problems to Kern County?
Great question.
If it's so bad everywhere else,
Right.
why would we want to bring it all here?
We would be bringing it here temporarily as a state of California, dealing with our trash regionally.
How is it temporary if no one else can get rid of it? And if we bring it here, how are we going to get rid
We
of it?
have to wait for the federal government to finish building another Yucca Mountain. By law, they're supposed to build 2 Yucca Mountains. There's $50 billion to deal with this, by the way. Everybody here that paid an electric bill has been paying 7 cents to every kilowatt up until the past 5 years. And so there's $50 billion that was set aside to deal with spent nuclear fuel. They spent $13 billion Yucca Mountain and wasted it, and it's gone, but it's still there earmarked. So if Randsburg agrees with me and the Randsburg and Red Mountain and Johannesburg, there's a slice of like $13 billion that the government would then earmark for this project that we could start building, and Kern County would have to agree, going, yeah, we're going to become the landfill for it. But it's not a landfill; it's temporary storage. Temporary, 1 to 500 years, but it's temporary for the next generations to. We're teeing it up for them to do.
5 generations.
Okay, 5 generations. Right now, if they opened it, let's say tomorrow, Yucca Mountain opens. If all the 291 canisters were ready to go, you know how long it would take them to move them? 70 to 100 years, because they're all in a queue. They would come to to the nuclear power plant. Okay, we'll take 2 now from there, 2 now from here, 1 from Humboldt, and maybe 2 from Sacramento, and then they would say we'll be back in 10 years. They're all in a queue across the United States. So we would basically be moving them to a temporary place to key it up for the 5 generations later to say, okay, when the federal government figures it out, here, now take it from here.
I just don't understand. Why would Kern County say?
We don't have time to do a lot of detail on this right now. If you guys want to talk,
Yeah, I'm gonna pass out flyers right now. You guys can get a hold of me. I got a website, and get a hold of me anytime. Let's talk about it.